A serious, deep dive examination into the subtle, unconscious, psychological, and behavioral cues that signal high female desire. The subject of female desire, especially when it is deliberately concealed or only subconsciously expressed, is one of the most consistently misunderstood aspects of human psychology. It is not about grand, overt gestures. True, deep desire in a woman, the kind that signifies she is deeply and viscerally craving a connection, manifests through a set of deeply subtle, often contradictory, and primarily unconscious psychological signals. This is not a list of common flirting techniques. This is a framework for understanding the female nervous system and how it betrays her hidden interest, often against her conscious intention to remain guarded. We are diving past the surface-level signs and into the bedrock of responsive desire and the psychology of self-protection. The core concept: spontaneous versus responsive desire. To understand a woman's hidden desire, you must first discard the male model of spontaneous desire. Most men experience desire as a primary drive. It happens first, then the search for a partner follows. For a significant portion of women, desire is responsive. It is an emotion that ignites in response to a stimulus, an environment, or a specific relational quality. When a woman wants you bad, this she does is often creating the psychological conditions for her responsive desire to flourish, even if she's hiding the end goal. Her secret behaviors are not simply indicators. They are cues of receptivity and unconscious attempts to test the environment. Phase 1. The signals of unconscious self-betrayal, the body's lie detector. The most reliable signals of secret high desire are those she cannot consciously control. These are the autonomic and limbic system responses that bypass the frontal cortex. They are, in essence, her body's lie detector failing. 1. The paradox of proximity, the retreat and the re-entry. When a woman experiences intense, bordering on limerence desire, the primary emotional state is often one of high anxiety and vulnerability, not simple excitement. Her internal conflict, the desire for a deeply satisfying connection versus the primal fear of rejection, causes a behavioral paradox. What she does: she will actively create a cycle of approach avoidance. She will orchestrate a deliberate moment of maximum proximity. She might linger at your desk, join a group conversation only because you're in it, or choose a seat very close to you, often initiating a light, casual, or even professional touch. A slight brush of the arm, a hand on the shoulder during a laugh. This is her testing the safety of the field. Immediately following the proximity, she will often execute a rapid, unnecessary retreat or become suddenly cold, short, or overtly distracted. She might stare intensely at her phone, excuse herself abruptly, or shut down the conversation with a one-word answer. The psychology. This is a self-regulatory mechanism. The surge of oxytocin and dopamine from the connection becomes overwhelming, triggering a fear response. She wants you bad, but the vulnerability of that desire feels like a threat, so she hits the emotional reset button. If she returns to the proximity cycle, approaches you again soon after the retreat, that is a definitive high desire signal. The desire is strong enough to override her self-protective instinct. 2. The micro-betrayals of the eyes. The focused foveal gaze. Most people understand prolonged eye contact as a sign of attraction. However, a woman concealing deep desire will often avoid prolonged contact, but her avoidance is interrupted by a specific, high-intensity gaze. What she does, the focused foveal gaze, is a flash of intense, narrow-focus attention. She will look away rapidly when you catch her. But if you watch her before she knows you are looking, you will see her foveal vision, the center of her gaze, which is used for reading and intense focus, locked onto a specific non-face detail. Your hands, especially when you gesture, the line of your jaw/neck, the transition area between power and vulnerability, or the fabric of your clothes, a micro-assessment of texture and scent carrying capacity. The psychology. This is a primal, detailed assessment. She is not just looking at you, she is recording data. Her unconscious mind is compiling a complete relational and physical profile. When she is suddenly caught, the eyes snap away, not because she's shy, but because the intensity of the information being processed feels like it was exposed. Her pupils may also be slightly more dilated during these brief, intense flashes, a physiological response to high-level interest, which is entirely outside her control. 3. The object transference, caressing the surrogate. This is one of the most overlooked and most telling signs of secret desire stemming directly from the channeling of nervous energy. What she does. She will unconsciously use a nearby object as a physical surrogate for you or for the desired touch. She doesn't simply fidget. She caresses, strokes, or gently rubs a specific object while in your presence, often while you are talking. This could be the rim of a wine glass, the stem of a pen, the strap of her bag, or the smooth surface of her phone. The movements are often slow, rhythmic, and gentle, mirroring the pace of desired, intimate contact. The psychology. This behavior serves as an emotional pressure release valve. Her body is experiencing a high-frequency urge for physical connection and sensual touch, but her mind is restricting the direct expression of this urge toward you. By channeling the energy into an object, she allows the feeling to be physically expressed in a safe, tangential way. The smoother and more sensual the object's texture, the higher the intensity of the projected desire. This is her body acting out the craving that her words and actions are trying to suppress. Phase 2. The signals of behavioral manipulation, the social tests. The next set of signals moves beyond the purely physiological and into deliberate, though often subconscious behavioral tactics designed to manage the intensity of her desire and test your worthiness. A woman with high secret desire needs to know that the vulnerability she feels is justified by the quality of the man she is drawn to. 4. The performance of strategic indifference, the emotional pushback. When a woman deeply desires you, she is acutely aware of how much power that desire gives you over her emotional state. Her natural defense mechanism is to create a strong, artificial barrier of indifference to reassert her control and test your persistence. This is why she might appear cold, non-responsive to your texts, or even slightly dismissive of your achievements. She isn't truly indifferent. She is performing indifference. The goal is twofold. A. To mask her true, highly vulnerable feelings, and B. To see if her cooling behavior causes you to invest more effort. If you are easily deterred, you are psychologically unsafe. If you persist gently but confidently, you demonstrate high value and genuine interest that transcends her temporary emotional barrier. 5. The fluctuation in communication, the high-low pulse. If her desire is intense, her communication will not be steady and consistent. It will be cyclical and erratic, creating a high-low pulse that can confuse you. The high pulse. She will send a sudden flood of high-investment communication. This could be a long, thoughtful text in the middle of the night, a highly specific question about your personal life, or sharing a deep, guarded secret. This is a moment of desire overriding self-control. The low pulse. This is followed by a sudden, often days-long, period of withdrawal. She takes a long time to respond, uses short, non-committal replies, got it, busy, or ignores your outreach altogether. This is the moment of panic and self-correction, where she fears she revealed too much and is now deliberately creating distance to recalibrate her emotions. The stronger her hidden desire, the more dramatic this communication fluctuation will be. 6. The test of competence and value, the unspoken challenge. A woman who wants you bad will unconsciously put you through relational competence tests to ensure her high desire is warranted. She needs to know that you are not just a source of fleeting excitement, but a man of substance who can provide emotional stability and protectiveness. These tests are often delivered as unspoken challenges or requests for small favors that gauge your character. She might ask you for advice on a serious, complex issue, testing your cognitive ability and problem-solving skills. She might observe how you treat service staff or colleagues, testing your general character and respect. Or she might subtly challenge one of your stated opinions in front of others, testing your confidence and ability to maintain your frame under pressure. Her high desire means she is intensely motivated to find a reason to reject you if you fail these tests, simply because the stakes are too high for her to invest in a low-quality partner. Phase 3. The signals of self-reconfiguration, the inner shift. The final, most advanced signals are those where she unconsciously begins to reorganize her own life and identity around the potential for a relationship with you, even before anything is confirmed. These are the markers of long-term, deep psychological preparation for integration. 7. The creation of overlapping contexts, the engineered collision. When her desire becomes deep, she stops leaving things to chance. She begins to actively but subtly engineer collisions between your lives and spheres of interest. She will suddenly express an interest in a hobby you mentioned months ago, only to coincidentally appear at an event related to it. She will change her routine, perhaps taking a different route to work or choosing a specific coffee shop, if she knows it increases the probability of a random encounter with you. She isn't just seeking proximity, she is creating overlapping social and physical contexts. This is a powerful signal because it requires forethought, planning, and a sustained effort to restructure her daily life around your predicted path. 8. Excessive disclosure of future plans, mapping the relationship. While she may be guarded about her current feelings, a woman with deep, secret desire will often inadvertently reveal her future-oriented mindset regarding you. She will drop excessive details about upcoming, non-committal events, a concert next month, a trip planned for the summer, a career move next year, and then pause, waiting for your response. She is not just making conversation, she is inviting you to spontaneously insert yourself into her future narrative. If she says, "I'm planning this huge hike next month," and then her gaze locks onto yours and she waits, she is giving you an open, unspoken invitation to say, "That sounds amazing. I'd love to go." She is testing the waters to see if you are prepared to make the leap into a shared future before she commits her immediate emotions. 9. Amplified physical mirroring, the desire for synchronization. Mirroring is a common sign of rapport, but when desire is extremely high, the mirroring becomes amplified, detailed, and crosses over into synchronization. This goes beyond merely matching your posture. She will begin to unconsciously adopt specific micro-behaviors or even linguistic patterns unique to you. If you have a specific way of ending a sentence, she may start using it. If you have a unique habit of adjusting your tie or running your hand through your hair, she may begin to perform a similar, though less obvious, self-soothing gesture. Isimiji, touching her neck or smoothing her jacket. This is her deepest unconscious mind attempting to achieve neurological and behavioral synchronization with you, an attempt to physically and socially integrate your identity with hers. It is the ultimate signal of intense, secret desire, because it shows her nervous system has already accepted you as a primary and necessary presence. Conclusion: the interpretation of complexity, final guidance. Understanding these complex signals requires moving past the superficial signs of simple flirting and embracing the psychological reality that intense desire is inherently tied to vulnerability and self-protection. When a woman secretly wants you bad, she does not become straightforward. She becomes complex, contradictory, and often confusing. Her retreat is not rejection, but a fear of connection. Her indifference is not disinterest, but a test of security. The "this she does" is creating the subtle, unconscious conditions necessary for her to feel safe enough to eventually drop the act, stop the testing, and allow her deep, responsive desire to move from secret craving to open, invested commitment. Your job is not to chase, but to notice the complexity, remain steady, and confidently navigate her self-imposed psychological obstacles.